Hello. So we're going to have a look at the Double Down News posted a video probably about 8 hours ago now, and its title is Tommy Robinson and Israel. It's worse than you think. So I'm going to have a look at this because I watched a little bit of it in the beginning, and I was like, wow. So yeah, let's check it out quickly.
Who is Tommy Robinson and who helped him get to where he is today? Robinson sells himself as a patriot working for your interests. But who is he really working for? When we look into the background of the organization he founded, the English Defence League, we could take the view that it was intended to be an offshoot of the terrorist Zionist organization, the JDL. Now, the first time that the English Defence League was registered officially on Companies House was by Israeli soldier Roberta Moore. The company was originally incorporated as the EDL, English Defence League Limited. However, it was later renamed to Jewish Defence League, JDL UK Limited. The second time that the EDL was registered on Companies House was by Helen Sheila Gower. It was incorporated as the English Defence League, EDL. However, just a month later, it officially changed its name to the English and Jewish Defence League, EDL Limited. Now, it's relevant that the initial registration was carried out by the former Israeli soldier Roberta Moore. Roberta Moore is pictured here with the vice chair of the Zionist Federation at the time, Jonathan Hoffman.
Members of the racist English Defence League, or EDL, attended a demonstration that Hoffman helped organise. He is photographed alongside Roberta Moore, the founder of the EDL's Jewish division. She will later express her admiration for Anders Breivik, the neo-Nazi who murdered 77 people in Norway.
When Roberta Moore was asked if the EDL was exploiting the Zionist movement, she replied, "If anything, we are exploiting them."
I've received these packages today.
He's admired somewhat as one of the brains of the EDL. He's just got a delivery of quotes from the Quran from his researcher in Israel.
Tommy Robinson's co-founder at the English Defence League was an individual who called himself Paul Ray. Paul Ray, prior to founding the EDL with Robinson, infiltrated the International Solidarity Movement, a pro-Palestine organisation which Rachel Corrie had been a member of. Paul Ray infiltrated and spied on this organisation and then submitted the information he gathered to several different intelligence agencies. Following his work for Israel, Paul Ray founded the English Defence League with Tommy Robinson.
You've had a pro-Israel stance for as long as I've known you.
Since the first day.
It's important to remember the first time that the English Defence League was registered officially was by Israeli soldier Roberta Moore. Roberta Moore is pictured here alongside the head of the Canadian branch of the JDL and the genocidal Israeli politician Moshe Feiglin, who said, "Every child, every baby in Gaza is an enemy."
מה יותר מוסרי מלמחוק כל נוכחות של האסלאם או הנאציזם הזה, נער, זקן, טף ונשים מרצועת עזה?
The JDL, the Jewish Defence League, was formally categorized as a terrorist organization by the FBI in the United States, following decades of plotting bombings and assassinations on US soil. It was founded by Meir Kahan, the well-known Israeli fascist who advocated for the complete ethnic cleansing of Palestine.
If I were the Minister of Defence, there wouldn't be one Arab left here.
I want the Arabs out.
Are you encouraging your people to go out on the streets and to attack Arabs as has happened in...
I call upon the Jews to do anything imaginable and anything possible which will encourage the Arabs to get out of this country.
Does that mean attacking?
It makes me think that have these types of people infiltrated the Israeli government, and this is who, say, Netanyahu is something that is aligned with people like him or organizations? It's a thought.
Anything possible.
But the connections of Tommy Robinson and the English Defence League to the JDL do not end there. One of the earliest supporters of the EDL and a regular speaker at their rallies outside the Israeli embassy was none other than Rabbi Nachum Shifrin.
How would you feel if one day your children or your grandchildren are saying 5 times a day, Allah Akbar? Well, this is what is coming down on you here and now. It will be recalled on this day that it was the EDL that started the liberation of England.
Nachum Shifrin was the driver for the founder of the JDL, Meir Kahan. So the question has to be asked, was Tommy Robinson's English Defence League founded to be an offshoot of the Zionist terrorist organisation, the JDL? Tommy Robinson's relationship with the JDL was so close that in January 2011, the Canadian branch of the JDL, led by Meir Weinstein, officially announced.
Weinstein? No relation to Harvey Weinstein.
That it was forging ties with Robinson's English Defence League. The JDL even organised support rallies specifically for Robinson and the EDL. During a 2011 event at the Toronto Zionist Centre, Tommy Robinson addressed the JDL. The JDL even went on record praising Tommy Robinson as a shining star of democracy, quote unquote. Robinson cited his Zionist credentials.
I notice you're wearing a shirt or a button that says I'm a Zionist. What does a Zionist mean to you?
Well, a Zionist is someone who believes in a homeland for Jewish people.
My definition when I've looked at that is Israel first.
It means Israel first?
Yes.
Okay.
Robinson actively differentiated himself from the British National Party.
Those groups differ in many ways because those are just Nazis backward.
Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Former BNP leader Nick Griffin went on record describing the process whereby the EDL and the BNP went in separate directions.
The leadership of the EDL and the thing as a whole, it is quite simply a Zionist front organisation, which is financed in the end from the United States. And its purpose is to heighten and encourage a clash of civilizations. Because the neocons and the far right of the Zionist spectrum, the Likud Kahanists, they want Europeans and Muslims fighting on the streets of Europe so that when they then, as they want to ethnically cleanse Palestine of all the Palestinians, a lot of public opinion thinks, well, I wish we could do that in Britain, wish we could do it in France or Denmark, and that's what the EDL is there for. It's a false flag front group run by and financed by Zionists.
That's coming from him.
When Tommy Robinson had legal troubles around a decade ago, his legal fees were covered by none other than the Middle East Forum, which was quoted 13 times by Anders Breivik in his manifesto that he released before killing over 70 people. The Middle East Forum is headed by Greg Roman, a former employee of the Israeli Ministry of Defense and the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Philanthropist Nina Rosenwald is on the board of the Middle East Forum and financially backed a number of organizations funding Tommy Robinson. She's nicknamed the Sugar Mama of anti-Muslim hate, and her organization, the Gatestone Institute, regularly publishes pieces defending Tommy Robinson. Nina Rosenwald is a former director and vice president of the Zionist Organization of America. Another key figure at the Zionist Organization of America, Robert Shillman, employed Tommy Robinson alongside Ben Shapiro and Katie Hopkins as his
It makes sense, doesn't it? Like, you got people like Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robinson who have been seen together in previous marches. I think it was the one in September. They were both seen together.
Shillman Fellows at the David Horowitz Freedom Center.
Big round of applause for Israel. Yes, come on, Israel.
I mean, I don't have a problem with Pacific countries and that. I have a problem with the governments or organizations that are within those countries. It could be any part of the world. I have a problem with right-wing governments and extremists from Pacific countries that want to cause a lot of harm, a lot of hate and harm and stuff like that to people around the world when there's absolutely no need to. We should all be living in peace.
Applause for Israel. Yes, come on, Israel.
Palestine. Why would you support Palestine?
We have to remember that Robert Shillman was a director of the Friends of the IDF. And here we see Robert Shillman speaking at the Zionist Organization of America and describing his pen and his checkbook as weapons.
With this pen and my checkbook, I provide ammunition. I wield a pen to provide ammunition to those organizations like ZOA who are on the front lines in this battle.
Shillman's funding allowed Rebel Media to pay Robinson a substantial salary. Rebel Media is run by Ezra Levant, who Robinson cites as the person who created him.
Ezra helped me, coached me, trained me, created me. So I'm very grateful to Ezra Levant. I'm very grateful to, and I know at the time, Bob, Dr. Bob's here.
That was yesterday he did that speech.
I know at the time Dr. Bob was sponsoring my employment. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know what Shillman Fellow meant at the time. But Dr. Bob was supporting Rebel, who was supporting me.
Now, Shillman has recently gone on record, on camera, in an interview with Tommy Robinson, and stated he will support the protest, providing $100,000.
So I'm happy to tell you today that I've come to the conclusion, the decision, that I will support the Unite the Kingdom rally to happen on May 16th.
So, I've just contacted the production company to let them know that there is an invoice and money on its way. Dr.
Stupid fucking little poison dwarf he is.
Bob Shillman donated $100,000.
Double Down News reported on the relationship between Robert Shillman and Tommy Robinson as far back as 2021. We reported on it again in 2024. It seems the news cycle is only just catching up to the investigative work that we have done here previously. In October 2025, the individual known as Tommy Robinson travelled to Israel at the invitation of Israel's Minister for Diaspora Affairs, Amit Chikli. This trip was paid for by the Israeli government. It included visits to the Knesset, the site of the Nova Festival, and the settlements in the West Bank, an area which Tommy Robinson dutifully refers to as Judea and Samaria, using strictly Zionist terminology. During his trip to Israel, Tommy Robinson was informed by an interviewee that there was a special place in hell for Britain.
They really helped give birth to the Jewish state in World War I. The Balfour Declaration, the San Remo Accords, the mandate for a Jewish Palestine. The UK was at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
And then they turned on us.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They turned on us, man. And therefore they have a special place in hell.
This proud...
Wow. Yeah, we helped choose, like, in the beginning, I think it was after World War II at some point. Then suddenly you've turned into a right-wing thinking country, or at least your governments and leaders have.
Proud patriot.
That's what we disagree with you about.
All he could do was stick his tongue out gormlessly, as people like you and the people of this country were told there was a special place in hell for them. When Israel killed 3 former British soldiers with a targeted airstrike in Gaza, what was the response of Britain's patriot, Tommy Robinson? He said, British people that do aid work in Gaza are cucks, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. How can Tommy Robinson define...
And that is your right-wing patriot, fuckers, huh? Need I say more? It's disgusting. He's just a disgusting, vile person.
Define himself as a patriot, but speak with such callousness about the death of former British soldiers. I think that Tommy Robinson owes an apology to the families of John Chapman, James Kirby, and James Henderson. Yeah. All of these connections certainly would cause you to question where Tommy Robinson's ultimate loyalties lie, especially when he has been pictured on the top of a tank in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights of Syria, and stated so clearly that if a war was to develop in the Middle East, he would actively fight on the side of Israel.
If there was a war tomorrow, I would be there on the front line fighting for Israel.
What Tommy Robinson is doing now could be interpreted as just that. At Double Down News, you have a very unique and rare thing. It's an organisation which is working every day to give you the information that you need to understand the way power works around you. Do what you can to support Double Down News now on Patreon so that we can continue this important work.
Yeah, do give them a follow, and I've subscribed to their channel, and it's a very good video that they posted, and I'm happy to share it with you all. I'm going to leave it there. It's shocking and alarming actually how much money is being pumped into this kind of hatred by rich and sometimes really powerful people. It's absolutely just shocking. Yeah, so I'll leave it there. Until next time, thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. Until next time, bye.